Hello there. This is Mansoor Khattak, working as assistant professor in English at Cohorts University of Science and Technology, CAST. As you can see, the subject is teaching methodology, and the topic is classroom dynamics. And personally, this very topic is a teacher, is a trainee teacher, is a novice teacher, and even trained teacher. Maybe the teacher of English language, maybe the teacher of any subject, really need to require how to understand the classroom dynamics and also with the help of understanding the classroom dynamics or how one person could be a successful teacher. So moving on to the next slide. So a couple of points that I would be exploring in today's topics. All these topics are very important one. First, I will be trying classroom dynamics because for some people it would not be clear what is basically means classroom dynamics. And also identifying what are the key parts of the classroom dynamics, which are basically L2 learner profile. I have mentioned a learner profile because it is not only the learner, but there are so many other things as we can see in a profile of a person. So, what are the profile? What are the main things in the profile of the learner? And also, we need to consider in a classroom dynamics L2 teacher profile. What are the main things included in the teacher profile you need to see in a classroom dynamics, and also group dynamics, though it's a very interesting field to bring the students together and working as a team in a classroom. And I will be exploring these group dynamics and the L2 syllabuses or general syllabus as or English syllabuses, and in the final slide I will be exploring evaluation and the classroom dynamics. So let's move on to the definition of the classroom dynamics. In simple terms, classroom dynamics is the interaction of L2 learners and L2 teacher for the purpose of meaningful learning in the designated space. This very definition is composed of two things. One is the physical one, for example, the last space. So, in a classroom dynamics, we are specifically discussing or targeting a very designated space, which we call it a class. This is a very physical part, I would say, of the classroom dynamics. And inside classroom, human are interacting. Human are, you can say, performing different activities of the learning, which I have just mentioned, the interaction of L2 learner and L2 teacher. And this very definition also identify, you can say, what are the basic elements, and also you can say the very important parts, as we can see L2 teacher, L2 learner, and also the physical space. These three ingredients in this very definition are hidden but very important one. We will be exploring these three parts of the group dynamics in the next coming slides. However, there is no agreed definition, and there because it is composed of many and also interrelated parts. So I think, as I have defined in a simple terms, we should not make it more complex one, but it becomes complex in terms of the relation or correlation or even the impact of one part of another. For example, what is the correlation of what is the relation of the L2 learner and L2 teachers? Either it's a friendly, either there is a distance between these two parts, and what is the impact of this distance on the effective learning. So all these things are correlated, and also you can say one is influencing the another parts in classroom dynamics. So first one, and the very basic part of the classroom dynamic is L2 learners profile. As soon as you enter to the classroom, I think there is one thing that you as a teacher has to consider: the L2 learner. So in L2 profiles, what are the main things that you have to consider? And first, you have to see each and every learner's personality. Again, personality is a very complex construct. It covers so many things. For example, if someone is shy, someone is, you can say, is expressive, someone is initiative, someone is open-minded, someone is, you can say, conscious to the learning. All these things are coming under the definition of personality and many other aspects too in the personality terms. And you have to see as a teacher the effective factors of the learners. For example, either the learners are motivated, either the learner is, you can say, is motivated, either the learner is demotivated, is obstructed by some external factor. For example, maybe your methodology, maybe your personality as a teacher, maybe your behavior as a teacher. You have to consider, and also maybe the students are, you can say, inside their hearts and inside their minds are just, you can say, feeling demotivated. Maybe, for example, they are feeling, you can say, less confident. So, and this very less confidence can really be obstructing, you can say, his efforts towards the successful learning. And also anxiety, you have to consider, you can say, either some particularly learner is scared, or just scared of something, maybe due to, you can say, lack of resources, due to the language itself, and also due to the students, and also due to you as a teacher. So you have to consider in a classroom dynamics these effective factors of the student. And cognitive factors you have to consider as well, which can, for example, if a learner is, you can see, using his own brain or mind or reason or critical thinking, these things, how he or she is, I can say, picking up, we can say, these things and manipulating and exploiting all these things which are happening in the classroom. And also behavioral factors. For example, either the student is, you can say, really adopting, you can say, the very active, you can say, performer, or participating in any activities. You have to consider in the learner profile as a teacher. In the learner profile is the confidence. I think the student is believing in himself or herself to do the things or not. And also the attitudes, for example, attitude of the learner towards the classroom, towards the teacher, towards the learner, towards the assessment, even the examination in the examination system. And also the material. For example, if a teacher is introducing is to the classroom for making the concepts very clear. So the teacher profile you have to consider as a teacher. For example, what kind of personality you got. Either you are friendly, open-minded, or just, you can say, very authoritative and very strict teacher. And what is the competency level? Do you know your subject as well or not? Do you have expert in your subject or not? Your method, which methods or methods which you are using it, and why you are using it. And also you have to consider in a classroom dynamics of field 2 teacher profile your ways of assessment. What kind of assessment you like, you can say, either during the classroom, either after the classroom, either you can say in the beginning of the your lecture, or just, you can say, when you finish a couple of units. So what is your way of assessment can really be included in the classroom dynamics. And your attitude as a teacher towards your material which you are bringing. Either you are bringing very easy, really available material, or just expensive materials to the students for making the concept clear, and also developing these very materials. You are coming, you can say, with the well prepared material, or you are just preparing these very material during the classroom. So so the next parts of the classroom dynamic is the group dynamics, which is really meaning the combination of the two or more than two students to work together. The two learner and two teacher perception, you have to see about the group dynamics. Either a two learner is willing, you can say, to adopt the group dynamics. What are the beliefs, what are the perceptions of L2 teacher about the group dynamics? He or she likes it or just ignore it. The existence and following of the group dynamics. Either is there any existence of the group dynamics? For example, if a teacher has made some kind of groups, students group, or student teacher is inclined to make groups during the classroom lecture. And also awareness is what are the group dynamics and what are the its constituents, how these are made and how these are structured, as there is any you can say coherence, you can say, while making it, and all the procedure, for example, setting the targets and then doing the activities together and making some norms and rules, for example, to be considered while following the group dynamics in the classroom dynamics, and the management of this group dynamics, how a teacher manages the group dynamics. L2 syllabus, you have to consider what kind of a syllabus English teacher is following, what kind of a syllabus is there in the classroom dynamics. Is there any, the syllabus is relevant or interesting? This very aspect of the syllabus is really important one, because very less interesting syllabuses is not liked by the student, so there is no meaningful learning. Is the syllabus is lengthy or short, and what are the contents, what are the topics, and how these topics are arranged or graded. For example, the general principle of simple to complex is followed, or just these are in jumbled wise. And also you have to see that in syllabuses the concepts, examples or illustration are included or not, just to make the things very easy for the students. And what sort of assessment and evaluation is encouraged by the L2 syllabus. These related points about the L2 syllabuses you need to consider in classroom dynamics. The last one is the assessment and evaluation. I think this is a very final one, but this is very important one, because the whole activities of the learner, of the teacher, of the syllabuses and the materials in a class and the classroom dynamics are just focused on one thing, and that is, you can say, how effectively the students have learned it. So this very assessment and evaluation can really give the excellent opportunity to the student and to the teacher about the effective learning and teaching. So either the process-based assessment and evaluation is followed in the classroom dynamics or not, or the product one, for example, when the topic, when the lecture, when the unit are just finished, and then the examination or assessment is conducted. And also what written, it's written or oral, particularly in case of English language, both are just very important. Either these are followed, and in what proportion these are followed. And also grading and marking, for example, is there any criteria for the grading, marking, and what kind of you can say other rules and what criteria has been set. And also in grading and marking, I would also include the question, for example, short question. The grading is based upon, I think, on the type of the question, filling the blanks, you can say short question, long question, and narrative, descriptive, and all these things are included. And the feedback of the assessment, this is very important one. When the students, you can say assignment, when the student, any attempt and the assessment is just assessed, I think the very feedback, you can say the strength and the weaknesses of the student are just very important to be given to the students. So I think these very points are related to assignment, assessment and evaluation are also very important. So capturing the whole lecture, classroom dynamics we have discussed. In a classroom dynamics we have discussed 4 or 5 couple of parts of the classroom dynamics. First one is the L2 learner, L2 teacher, syllabuses and assessment and material. So this is the end of the lecture. Thank you very much.